except, you know, when he gets to about the 16 minutes of the speech, then you hear the real agenda, you know. But the whole point is...
I haven't heard him, so I can't really speak to that. But,
well, just look him up, Tariq Ramadan.
Okay.
He's the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood in Europe. Recently, you know, they've allowed him to travel to the U.S. He was banned. He's basically a big supporter of Hamas, Hezbollah, you know, the usual cast of characters.
One guy that I put in my book, I actually put in Anjem Choudhury. Do you know that guy? He's from London.
Yeah, I always see him on. Yeah, I always see him on. What'd you call it? I saw him one time on Fox where he says we're going to plant the White House with a Muslim flag.
That was on This Week with Christiane Amanpour, and it had Daisy Khan on it. Is that the one?
No.
Well, all right, he said it there too. All right. Well, the thing I wrote about was you remember Daisy Khan, right? The wife of Imam Raouf. And it was at the time when the Ground Zero Mosque thing was really heated up, and Christiane Amanpour took it on. You know, as brave as she was, she couldn't handle it. Clearly, when he got on, when Anjem Choudhury got on, she didn't know what to do because he's saying things that we just don't say here in America. You know, and he's just saying it like matter of fact. You know, we're gonna fly the flag of Islam over the White House. You know, and stuff. And he was criticizing Daisy Khan about not being a practicing Muslim because she didn't wear the hijab, you know, the head covering. And he said, I like the line that he used, and it made it into my book. You can't be a practicing Muslim and you can't be a practicing vegetarian and eat beef burgers. You know, so in other words, he kind of tied that in. But she was saying, well, how do you know I'm not a real Muslim? You know, can you see into my heart? And I took a section of my book and I kind of addressed her in it, saying, you know what, you're right. Nobody can see into your heart. You want to be a moderate Muslim, that is beautiful. And you want to be American, welcome. Nobody's going to, that's beautiful, that's fine, welcome. The thing is, it would mean more if, first of all, there was another guy on there accusing her of taqiyya, you know, basically lying, like you said, you know, in the name of Allah, and you know, that's who she was asking, you know, can you see into my heart, you know? But the reason he's accusing her of taqiyya is because we now know of it. And, you know, if you're practicing taqiyya about taqiyya, well, I mean, there's circular stupidity there. But, so it's kind of discredited right from the start. And the other part of that was that it would mean more. Her credibility would mean more if she was trying to reform her religion, which is what she's trying to, you know, basically says she's trying to do over here in America. If she would go to the heart of where Islam is and reform it over there, but she wouldn't even get a word in edgewise. In fact, she'd probably get killed immediately. So, you know, there's that. But here's the other thing I made a point of. Any reform that happens on this side, you know, inside America, is gonna get rippled over by the waves of you know, the hate that come out from its core. If it doesn't get changed at its core, it's going to continue to radiate what it is radiating, and it will overtake eventually any reform that happens, for instance, here in America. That's what I think.
What really needs to happen with Islam is kind of a period of enlightenment, you know, where you have philosophers arising, questioning their own religion. I mean, let's not forget.
Yeah, but they don't. They can't. It's a sin. It's a sin to question. You know what I mean? It's a sin to question their own religion, so they can't.
Yeah, right. And then when the ones that do, like that Dr. Jasir guy, they get called a traitor, an apostate.
Yeah. Right.
Meanwhile, he's just trying to say, hey, guys, you know, in the 21st century, we can't go by stuff we were taught in the 7th century. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's trying to say is we're in the modern world today, you know, wake up, you know. And then he gets drowned out. He gets called a traitor, a collaborationist. And I look at the dude on TV, and I'm like, I like this guy. He's the real deal.
I like him, too. I've heard him on Mark Levin. I've heard him on other radio shows. And, you know, I've boiled... Yeah.
America.
Well, To America, exactly. That was my point in the book. That was my point to Daisy Khan was, you're an American. That's great. You need to be an American first, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can. This is where you can be a Muslim. Every place else you can't. You got to choose. And one of the funny things I kind of came up with was there's 3 stages of Islam. You got your beginners, and you got your intermediates, and you got your advanced. The beginners are, the recent converts here in America. The intermediates is what London has, when they have a growing majority and they're starting to feel their oats and they're starting to kind of see, hey, maybe this global thing, maybe we will take over the world, and then you have the advanced, which is at the heart of the matter, where they just came from a field where a guy had to stone his sister to death.
Hey, David, I have a few questions, and then I'm going to take off here.
Right.
A number of your chapters deal with economic ideas, particularly Chapter 4 here, Spread the Wealth Around, Trickle Up Property, and Chapter 5, How We Got Here, Demographics, etc. I'm kind of curious, where do you see us going right now? Are you one of the crowd that believes that the U.S. dollar is destined to falling to a dismal point in which there is no recovery, or?
No, I don't address that, Adam, because I don't know. Okay, that's not in the book. Mine was more of the philosophies that got us here. The trickle up poverty thing, is spreading the wealth around. Basically, is pointing out that when you hear people, for instance, on the left talking about these rich corporations and this and that, it's nothing more than when you want to spread a rich person's wealth around so that you can get some. How much are you going to get of that? You're going to get a few pennies. You know what I mean? It really doesn't amount to very much at all, what you're going to get. It's mostly for the purposes of Schadenfreude, where you feel better about someone else's misfortune. You know what I mean? And what was the other? Oh, demographics. Oh, that's where people get shoved into. They get kind of like pushed into categories. Name for me how many different categories of minorities there are. I mean, besides the obvious color and ethnic, you got disability, you got blind, you got, there's so many categories, and they get shoved into categories. But then, what's done with those categories? Well, they get pitted against each other, so that the people are busy fighting amongst themselves about, who's got the better group. And the politicians are sitting above it, and they're inciting it by pointing it out. Look what they have. You don't have that, do you?
Dave, let me just jump in. I totally agree with you on that.
David, Chapter 9, Skin of the Game, sounds relevant, but what exactly is that about?
Well, it's another tool that they use. It's where I compared having skin in the game. Do you remember, Adam, when I think it was George Stephanopoulos during the 08 debates asked Obama, pointed out to Obama that lowering taxes will increase the number of people that get to work, which will increase revenue to the government. And Obama responded with, "It's not about increasing revenue; it's about being more fair." Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah,
that ring a bell?
That sounds familiar.
Okay, my point to that is being more fair to whom? Is it being more fair to the person who made, first of all, better decisions with his life and decided that he was going to go to college and made the decision to study hard and made the investment of time and money to get an education and made an investment sacrifice time away from their family in order to build a business, and now after all that, their reward is to make the money that they're making because of all the steps that they've taken to do that. So for the government to just say, okay, you're making a lot of money, bang, I'm taking it, I'm giving it to these people who, I'm going to redistribute it to these people who haven't had the shots that you have, they made their shots, I mean, I got to tell you right now, I'm not rich by any stretch. In fact, I'm in so much debt right now, but I'm not going to begrudge anybody who is. So skin in the game. The people it's basically it's about the incitement to the class warfare, which is what is it, Rodan? Marxism 101, right?
Exactly.
So the point of it is, it's not being fair to the people who have invested more of their life, more of their time, more of their money, and sacrificed the most to get where they are and make the money that they're making, to have the government take it because they're making it. That's what that chapter's about.
Cool.
Okay.
Dan, do